Stella ngudonzi Pepukai Shelter Samakomva and Rekurorwa is Mupfumira. Ndine 32 years and ndakazvarwa kuZimbabwe, capital city Harare. I just say that my name is Pepukai Shelter Samakomva, which is my maiden name, and my married last name is Mupfumira. I was born in Zimbabwe, in the capital city in Harare. I remember when I was about, I think, 3. I remember early in the day, my parents had an argument because I could see them shouting at each other and everything. And then I remember, I thought it was the middle of the night. I'd gone to sleep in my bed, but I woke up in my dad's car because it was feeling cold at the back seat, and I just wondered where we were going. And I remember getting to a house I didn't know, and him just saying to me, "Well, go sleep on that bed." And the next morning, I remember him just telling me that my stepmom was now my mom, and that my siblings were now my siblings, my brothers and sisters. Yeah, that's what I remember, and I sort of blank from there. I only remember maybe 2 years after, and I was 5, and I was still staying with my dad. Yeah. So my dad was married, but he had a relationship with my mom. They were not married, and so they had me. And I think things were good for the first few years. And then when I was 3, they had an argument about something, and my dad decided that he wanted to take me so that I could stay with him. They didn't say anything to me. In our culture, kids, they don't really explain things to you. They make the decisions, that's it, and you can't really ask. So I remember just waking up at a stranger's house and being told that, that's my mom and those are my brothers and sisters. And I just remember growing up, and I knew that I wasn't, my stepmom and my siblings were not very happy that I was there, and they knew that I was a child from another woman, so it didn't really sit well with everybody. But my dad was that type of person. He's got about 28 kids with probably 8-9 different women. But he was married to my stepmom for some time. So I always knew I wasn't part of their family. So I remember when I was 7, I wanted to pray. I was sitting outside, and I just wanted to talk to God, and I remember asking him that, I'm so unwanted, I'm such a burden to everybody, people used to tell me that even my mom didn't want to have me, otherwise she'd have come in and taken me. So, and I felt like if I died, then everything would be great for everybody. And I remember praying and thinking, God didn't answer the prayer. So I just thought, I don't know, I didn't have much faith in God. Growing up, I just knew he was there, and sometimes he helped, and I thought he had special people he helped, if you're born out of marriage or something, maybe, and your parents wanted you, then maybe he can he can answer your prayers. If you're pure, then, but because I wasn't, then that's why he wouldn't hear my prayers. When I was 19, that's when we started going to the Salvation Army. And we became soldiers. Me and my mom, we went together. We were going to Methodist church by then, so we moved because the Salvation Army was the closest church to us. I remember at church they talked about, they preached on Ezekiel 37, the valley of the dry bones, and the way they read the passage, and I just had an image in my head of those bones rising up after they had been, God said, prophesied this, and then everything happened and they were brought to life. And I remember feeling like I was that person lying in that field, just bones, because I didn't have any life in me at that time. And I just felt like God was talking to me that this is what I can do for you if you let me in. And I think I remember feeling that day that I had my own, special connection. Like I finally heard God talking to me personally. Yeah. I think that's when I truly started my journey to explore my own relationship with God. Yeah. My dad was only married to one person, but it was, I guess, promiscuous, and he had different kids with different women. Like some of them, like I remember a few years ago, we met a sister of mine. She's 46, but she just found out that my dad was her dad. So we kept meeting new kids all the time, so there could be more. But that wasn't like a normal thing. Like it was just him, but not like everybody was like that. But I remember coming to New Zealand and just having, I think it was kind of holding me back a little bit because, though I had started my journey with God and I had decided to surrender everything to Him, I was holding on to I'd say to myself, I will not forgive my parents. That was my decision, that God, you can take anything else except for that part of forgiving my parents. Yeah, like holding a grudge. Like I felt like I had the right to. It was my right. And I remember, like when we came, like the first year when we were in Upper Hutt, and either Lorraine Lepine or her husband, I think, preached something about forgiveness. And they talked about the Lord's Prayer, how you say, forgive me as I forgive those who sin against me. But I also felt God talking to me again, just saying, that's holding you back. That's what's blocking you to fully surrender and feel the freedom in Christ. And I remember finally letting it go. My decision was that, do I confront my parents and tell them how I felt, or do I just leave it with God and forgive them? And I decided to just leave it with God and forgive them. And in that moment, I realized that my parents were just people like me. They were on their own journeys, and they made whatever decisions they could make with the situation that they were in. So it was not my place to try and judge them or anything. I just had to love and respect them for who they were. I think it changed my life. It changed everything because I just became a new person, and I could see, I felt so worthless all my life. And then for the first time I could see myself for me. I stopped seeing myself as the child of a mistress. I stopped seeing myself as someone who had to be perfect so that people could at least recognize me or accept me, or I felt like I needed to stop trying to please people and just try to please God for a change. I think that's how I became the happy person I am today. What is the price of 5 sparrows, 2 copper coins? Yet God does not forget a single one of them, and the very hairs on your head are all numbered. So do not be afraid. You are more valuable to God than a whole flock of sparrows. I just had to surrender and let God handle everything, and I could be free, and I could stop carrying burdens that were not mine. I could stop carrying the shame that wasn't mine. I could stop carrying the judgment and the resentment and all the things that I was carrying, that I could just move forward with my life and just have the freedom of just knowing that I am loved by God no matter what, and His love is unconditional. So that would be enough for me, even if anyone else didn't love me. If God loved me, that was enough. It was sufficient for me.